All right. It's Thursday. It's time for Game Set Live. Let's get ready to rumble. Let's talk about this shit. Fuck you, Jim Ryan. This one. Get that out of the way. All
Can't wait.
right. All right. So, the usual suspects as usual. Bushido, Power Man, Fabio. Got a special guest straight from Umbra, where do you want to be known from? The
Umberland.
Umberland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the
The
land of
streets, baby.
umbrellas. The land of umbrellas.
Streets,
Okay,
baby.
let's go.
Well,
Streets.
you should never listen to Bushido. This
Wow.
entertains.
Already.
No,
Already.
don't worry. Don't worry.
You
We
know.
never listen to him. It's okay.
No shade. No shade.
Fabio, why you acting like that, man? That's company. He gonna be going.
Don't do the company like that, Fabio. Damn. They had manners in Brazil.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, about
Are
that.
you sure about that?
It's under, I said, listen, Bob, I came in here expecting your self-empowerment to be the class acts. I did not expect anything much from Bushido and Fabio. I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, I half expected Fabio to be like, I don't know, spreading some butter on a piece of toast or something while like some lady came and strolled his like and rubbed his hair or something like off the commercials when he rode in on a horse. I don't know.
You're the
His
wrong
name-
Fabio.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, okay. Oops.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know. I don't know if I feel offended or honored by the impression that you had about me. I don't know. Maybe both. But, like,
See, that's the class I have right there. Even if I'm talking about you, I'm giving you a favorable talk about. You see this? No, but you guys would know me obviously from the Xbox Infinite, my podcast, and the Xbox Factor podcast with Boom on Tuesdays. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Pleasure is all ours. So the news hasn't been a ton of news, but I know as gamers we've all been playing something. Of course, on screen, I've gone back and to finish A Plague's Tale, and I started completely over. I was on chapter 6, and I stopped it to play something else, and I never got back to it. And I want to finish it before the new one comes out. And I started playing it, and I was like, "Shit, I don't remember any of the controls." So I just completely wiped my game and started over from fresh.
But it wouldn't make.
So I've been playing.
Wait, Bob. That didn't make it. That didn't make sense. You could have still learned it from playing where you were.
And no, when I was in chapter 6, man, I needed to be on my game, and I kept dying, and I was like, I
No,
So I just started
I'm
it
kind of
over.
like you. I do that too. If I get too far into a game and I stop, and I'll have to come back, and I'm like, I just start over.
but like, is it because of the controllers, of the controls, or is it because of the story? I usually do that because I end up forgetting the story, not the controls.
No, I remembered the story, but I I remembered that the story was so great that it really didn't bother me to wipe the slate clean and start over, because it is an amazing story, and it got me right. I mean, even though I was replaying what I had already played up until chapter 6, it still had me, and I did not regret having to play it over whatsoever. It is an amazing game.
That's
Can't
good
wait
because I
to play
can't do
them.
that. I'll be frustrated if I did that.
Nah. All right, Mr. Bush, the professional. What have you been playing?
Yes, I've been playing a lot of Immortal Phoenix Rising. I'm really mad at myself. I let this game sit and only played it because it was on Game Pass, and I could play it digitally without putting the disc in. And this game is fantastic. I'm mad at myself for letting it sit. It's really good. I'm really addicted to it. And I've been trying to get back into Remnant from the Ashes, but I would like to have somebody else to go in with me, but I'm not gonna, chase it down right now because I've been in a Phoenix Rising. So that's about it.
All right, Power Man, what you been up to?
Oh man, it has been a week, man. It has been a week and a half.
You been playing anything but Twitter?
Man, I tell you what, Twitter's been crazy. It's been like Dark Souls Twitter out there for these ponies.
Sir.
They got it rough, dude. They got a
Are
rough
you dying?
they got a rough few months ahead of them. That's what I gotta say. But no, honestly, I've been playing a little bit. I don't know if you guys this is kind of old school, but it's a little bit of nostalgia for me. But Wrath of the Lich King dropped
Oh, Jesus.
patch. So
Ugh.
I've been playing some of that. What,
Ah,
man? What?
Jesus.
All right,
Wow.
that is a classic. Okay, that
Yes,
is a
I know,
classic.
but like,
That is a first party Xbox title. All right, I am helping out with Xbox right there by
we'll see.
paying
God.
that
We'll see how
subscription. You
that
know
goes.
what
We'll discuss about that later. No worries.
I
All
mean?
right, Fabio, have you been playing something better than Wrath of the Lich King?
So probably, so probably after the, you guys are going to be a bit disappointed because of how I went on the last week's show with Halo and all that stuff. But they just released the new event, the Happening, and I've been playing Halo Infinite. I'm back at it again, playing the new event, and I gotta say, the Happening is an event that Halo Infinite should have had for a long time. Like it should
Really?
have been released that for
Really? So you're saying I should reinstall that bitch, huh?
let me
You
let me
uninstalled it?
know.
How dare
Oh,
you?
you
Let me
traitor!
let me tell you.
No, I
Let me
did.
tell you
No, no, no,
this.
no, no,
Let
no.
me tell you
Pony.
this. Let me tell you this. Big team battle with
Yeah,
Fiesta.
you heard him give
Big
himself up.
team battle. Big team battle with Fiesta. Big team battle with shotty snipers. Big team battle with skewers and rockets. What do you guys think?
Well,
It
it's
sounds
bound to
like
be
a community
fun.
game night.
Yeah,
This
it
is the
sounds like our community game nights. Exactly.
this is the new events.
Yeah.
This
I,
is the new game mode. It's an event that, for the first time ever, we actually got a trailer for the event. Not just literally a 15 seconds trailer of a guy running in a straight line and shooting someone. And that's it. Like, as well as it's an event that actually makes you play with your friends and not just try to make you progress individually. Like,
Well, that's the thing they should have been aiming for all along is to have it be
exactly.
fun.
It's a party game. Halo has always been a party game, and this event makes me think of Halo. It actually makes me feel that I'm playing Combat Evolved because it's fun as hell.
Yeah. It's like the thing for me is like we've played these in custom, so it doesn't wow me. But I figured that when they showed it, it would be a good mode to have, Fiesta
Mhm.
BTB. It just makes sense.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But they
And
gotta
I
get
need to
Valve right
clarify.
there.
I need to clarify. I did not uninstall it. I
No,
moved
you
it from
did.
my S. No,
No,
I moved it from the SSD
stop
onto my
lying,
8 terabyte mechanical drive.
Bob. Bob,
I don't
before
know,
you,
man. You
That's in
sound
Bob,
his
real,
drawer.
you sound real
Bob,
confident in what
Bob,
you said the first
Bob,
time.
Bob,
You did.
tell us, tell the truth to the audience. Before we start recording, you said that you hated Halo. You said that you wanted 343 to stop existing. You uninstalled Halo, and you even you sent a threat to Powerman Bush and myself when we said that this was a stupid idea.
Hey Bob,
Go on.
Damn.
I'm
Damn.
looking at all the rats on the screen. I'm thinking you're probably thinking to yourself, these aren't the only rats around here.
Yeah, Umbra. I'm thinking. I'm getting ready to post on Twitter looking for new panel members because this
Look
shit
at
is bullshit.
all these little Jim Ryans running around here, running away from the fire, dog. All these
Yeah,
Jim
all
Ryans.
these rats turning on you,
All I
huh?
see is Jim Ryan.
Who told you? Who ever told you to trust a Brazilian? Come on.
I went back. It's funny because it seems like it's backlog season, right? But and like going back to what we played, I went back to Mad Max. I've been playing the hell out of Mad Max.
Oh yeah, so you
Yeah,
mentioned
that's a
earlier.
good
Yeah,
game, bro.
that's a
Yeah, I
good game.
love it.
Yeah,
That's a really good game.
Love it. Love that game.
Underrated.
I
I
wish
feel.
they had
I
a
really
sequel.
feel like
No,
it's
no, for
underrated.
sure.
People sleep on
very
that shit.
underrated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People were saying that like the combat system is too much like Batman's. That's great in my
That's
opinion.
Right.
what
Like,
That's
the
a
hell's wrong with
positive.
that? Yeah.
Exactly. That's a positive right there.
exactly.
Yeah,
I
Arkham
don't
Shout
games
out
understand.
to
influenced a lot of combat systems,
they sure did.
not just the
Exactly.
fighting, but the
Yeah.
The
Sleep
stealth
combat.
fighting.
aspects, puzzling. I mean,
Hmm.
let's face it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Traversal in some ways.
Yeah, traversal.
Midnight Fight Express even has the Batman Arkham fighting
Yes.
style, like you press Y to
Yeah.
block and such and parry and
Yep.
all that.
I call it like
Yep.
Yeah.
momentum combat. It's like momentum combat. You know what I'm saying? The more momentum you
That's
maintain,
interesting.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? the
Yeah,
higher
it makes
combo.
sense.
Yeah,
Makes
you
sense.
know what
I
I
think they
mean.
call.
Like,
I think they titled it Rhythm
okay,
Combat.
rhythm. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
yeah.
But I always thought that, like, okay, you build
That's much
momentum, you
better,
get your
man.
combos, and you can
Uh-huh.
actually start one hit killing. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Shout
it
out to
makes sense because you
Palpatine
do
and
get
Thember
powerful
in
as
the
you keep
chat.
going. That's true.
Number 1, number 2 fans. That's right. And also, shout out to Mr. John Blue. We had a disagreement on Twitter a few days ago when he said that he could see where Days Gone got some things from Mad Max, and Mad Max borrowed some things from Days Gone. And I've played extensively both games, and I basically
I
told
thought,
him
I
that
thought Mad Max came out
he
before Days Gone.
I don't see the likeness between either of them. I mean, I guess I was just so into the story on Days Gone that I didn't notice similarities. But the game that's on screen now, A Plague's Tale, the crafting system is a complete knockoff from The Last of Us. I mean, it's almost identical. But I mean,
Yeah.
we ended our little disagreement with me saying basically that hey, it's just it's paying homage from one developer to another when somebody does something so
Yeah.
well that it inspires you to do the same thing in your game. We shouldn't look at
Mhm.
it as stealing because
Unless
when
if it is
systems work, systems work.
How many games do that?
unless if it is something from Sony to play from Sony to Xbox and to Xbox to from Xbox to Sony. Those are the only moments that it's
yeah, Mad
wrong.
Max came out 4 years before Days Gone.
Yeah, see,
Wow.
that's
But
something
like I
right.
said,
All right.
a lot of devs look at that as a form of flattery. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
taking a system or using something that they,
Mhm.
if it's good, it's good. You know?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think people just don't like to give credit sometimes, and some people
Yeah.
like to believe that, yeah, well, this game I like created this. I seen some
Shout
people,
out to Logic in the chat.
what's up,
What's up,
Logic?
Logic?
The one and only Mr. Logic from Sensei's Thoughts podcast every
That's
Sunday.
right. Man, I love Logic.
I
Who
love
doesn't
being
love
logical.
Logic?
No,
Jesus.
what's
All
up,
right.
homie?
All right, we're going to get into the topics. Everybody, smash that like button, share it out, tell a buddy or two, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We do a show a week, not a lot of content, so you ain't got to be bothered by a bunch of alerts. Now, watch me say that, and then I'll start making a bunch of videos, and everybody will be calling me a liar. But anyway, let's get into our first topic. So, like I said before when the show started, the news was kind of on the light side this week, and then Jim whistleblower Ryan had to go and open his mouth. He's complaining about because Phil Spencer came out and said that they had made an agreement with Sony to keep Call of Duty on for, well, Phil called it several years, but it turns out to only be 3 years on top of the 2-year deal they already have. So they already have a 2-year deal, 3 games, 3-game, 2-year deal where Call of Duty is still going to be on PlayStation. They just extended that by 3 years. So that's 5 years more that Call of Duty will be on PlayStation. And apparently, Jim didn't think these sort of things should be public, which is ironic because every time there's going to be exclusive content or time exclusivity to the PlayStation, that's all we see or hear. It's made public by the horse itself. That's kind of funny I said horse because we are talking about ponies. Yeah,
Ha ha ha
it's
ha ha
just
ha. What a very funny joke, Bob.
but yeah, so
What's up,
it's
clowns?
clowns. What's up, brother? So to quote Jim Ryan, I want to get it right.
Okay.
Okay, Jim Ryan said, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum.
Wow.
Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends, which, keep in mind, I said that's 3 games. Modern Warfare 2 remake is one of those 3 games, 2 years, 3 on top of it. He goes on to say, after almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. Wow. But we're not allowed to say anything about how I still can't play on the fucking moon on Destiny 1 because that's only available on PlayStation.
Wait, seriously?
The moon mission is still not on Destiny 1. It's still not there.
See,
Wow.
wait. I didn't know about that anyone.
Neither did I.
Really? We cannot go to the moon?
Yes. No.
Ah, great.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, there was
Well,
a
don't play
moon
that one.
/ space station level in Destiny 1 that never made it to Xbox consoles. Never. And it's
It's
still
funny how
not
I
there.
brought it up to people, about, and they're complaining about the ABK deal, and I was bringing that up. Nobody ever wanted to settle in on that conversation. They wanted to keep moving the conversation to, what about isms? So
We
Power
chose
Man
to go
4K?
to the we chose to go to the moon in this console and not the other ones, not because it is easy, but because they pay hard. Is that it? Is this what
I think
they
that's what
just
it
said?
is.
Like,
I think that's
great,
the message this is.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah, and it wasn't just what was it in Destiny that you could do?
I'm laughing at Power Man in the chat.
Yeah,
He altered the deal. Pray I do not alter
he
it
did.
further.
It's amazing. Okay,
They
okay.
scared, bro. They
I'm sorry.
scared.
I'm sorry.
They
Why
are.
am I and Bushido here? I'm curious. Like,
What?
this is
Oh, don't be confused. His voice sounds nothing close to being as cool as mine. It's all right. It's okay. You're not used to me yet. It's all
no.
right.
I just wanna like
Yes.
this is the
Logic pointed
content.
out exotic weapons as well. There are still some weapons that we have never seen,
That's true.
and it's been what 11, 12
Years.
years since its
Yeah.
release. It's
Or yeah,
crazy.
originally they had a strike, a Crucible map, and 2 to 3 the weapons that Logic mentioned, Hawk Moon, Monte Carlo, and there was a sniper that could alter subclass powers or whatever, and you could alternate between the 3 of them.
Mm.
That was also
Wow,
PlayStation
that's
exclusive all the way up until I think almost into Destiny 2.
Well, Logic
finally-
saying that you can get those that were time gated in the first
Yeah.
Destiny. You can get them in Destiny 2 now.
Those exist in Destiny 2. Yeah, but for a very long time, the PlayStation exclusive content. Now, mind you, these were a couple of exotics that at the time weren't super OP. They weren't like the go-to. That's kind of like what they do when they do this like exclusive content. I've noticed on a lot of things, like everybody talks about the extra mode, right? That PlayStation got from Call of Duty, but it was like it was not like a super popular thing. Like I don't think they would ever hide like actual multi. If they started hiding like multiplayer mode or a full blown campaign behind a timed exclusivity from Sony, I think that people actually start painting them for the bad guy that they should be doing right now. But they get away with that kind of stuff because it's like not technically like need to have basis. It's just little tidbits. You know what I mean? Having beta access a little earlier, like they're doing this year with Modern Warfare 2. Just little petty things they throw out.
I don't like that though. I've always been against that nonsense.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't like time gated content off a same game.
either.
And I'm paying the same price.
Yeah,
That should not be the case.
I'd be okay with it if you got less money. If you charge me less,
if they charge less, or if they hit a time, I'd rather you have time exclusivity with the game than you do something like that.
I'm curious. I'd rather you have it exclusive. Period.
Shout out to Hargeet.
Hargeet in the chat.
I'd rather that too. Anything but having the same game and I'm getting less of the content. That right there is unacceptable.
Yeah,
I'm paying the same price.
Yeah, well, Look at it this way: if the deal goes through, we'll get exclusive content with Call of Duty, and we won't have to pay for it because it'll be
Well,
on
we,
Game Pass.
we, we might be getting an exclusive game. The way it's sounding from what
Well,
old Jim Ryan's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as that deal is concerned, listen, imagine the audacity that you have to have from a company when somebody else goes out and spends $70 billion on a product to think that you somehow have the rights and reserves to said product after it's been purchased. Like the way I look at it is like when somebody buys something, they own it. It doesn't
Yep.
matter if they created it. It doesn't matter
Yep.
if they put in it the tiers, whatever. Guess what? There's a lot of tiers and all that money they putting in there, and that money is going to that game. So they own the franchise. Now, the fact that Phil Spencer, because Phil is a guy, man. He's a gamer, and what I'm saying, he strikes me as a nice guy. I don't know him personally, but it seems like he kind of, wants the best for people, what have you, right? For him to send over a signed letter saying that he's going to not only honor the contractual
Which I
agreements that
wouldn't
they
have done.
made, exactly, bigger man than me, for
Yeah.
sure. Because I would have snatched that right then and there. I've been like, no,
And Phil has
nobody
always
getting this
been
but Xbox.
transparent.
Yeah, and talked about this stuff. But on top of that, saying that, you get it for several years after the fact. Listen, that's a huge commitment. And that is not unlike anything else in the gaming industry. You don't see stuff from opposing console platforms that are out there like saying like, oh yeah, we promise we'll do that. Nothing in the
Let's
gaming
just say
industry is that
let's just be
concrete.
clear, Power Manager, say Sony.
Yeah.
If this was Sony, it wouldn't even be a question.
No.
Not only would they not have sent the letter, it would have been understood already that that's exclusive.
Yes. The media would have never had said, like Kotaku, it could be coming to Game Pass, but that may not be
Right.
good for Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Or that may not be good for gamers. Get out of here with that. If that was Sony, it would have been a title along the lines of, oh, Sony just bought Call of Duty RIP Xbox. That would be like the whole mainstream media that would be talking about this thing, and there would be no outrage, there would be no anger. They would just be like, oh, well, PlayStation got Call of Duty next. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't even, call it out. And it's super weird.
It's almost asinine because we are talking about a corporation that has built its entire gaming empire on the back of exclusive offerings. And to this day, they're still doing deals with publishers to actively keep big games like Final Fantasy off
Yep.
Xbox as long as humanly possible. It's just, I mean, is the media tone deaf?
No, I don't think they're tone deaf. I just think that they obviously, let's face it, PlayStation's been the darling of the media for a long time now. Basically since 2013, with the infamous, this is how we play our games, DRM and TV, has still left a gaping wound in the image of Xbox to this day. And I think that ever since then, Xbox has been clawing and scratching its way back into the hearts of gamers. And for a long time now, PlayStation's had a lot of marketing deals that used to be on 360, including Call of Duty. And I think that what's happening right now is, they are changing how the game is being played. I always say it like this, like if an MMA fighter gets in the ring and they're a wrestler and they're fighting a boxer, they're not going to go in there and try to box with a boxer, right? You don't play the game the way the other person intends you to play it. Right. Like Xbox went out there and said, hey, you know what? If we're not gonna fight you on this front, we're gonna go out and we're gonna create a subscription service and we're gonna buy a bunch of good content that we can fuel our subscription service on. And Sony is mad that Xbox isn't playing the game that they want them to play. Right. They want them to play the exclusive game and the box console war. Right. And that's what they want them to play because they feel like they were winning and that it would be easy just to maintain that. So now Sony is scared that they're losing on hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue coming from Call of Duty. And from what I understand now, my mind is completely changed about this whole situation. Now that this stuff has come out, if Jim Ryan is being, honest about what he's saying, and this is actually like a truthful thing, this could be a major, major thing coming out with Call of Duty, because if that game launches as either the next gen mid-gen refresh console or the next generation Xbox as being an exclusive game, that would be huge when it comes to Xbox as a platform.
It's going to be huge regardless, though, Power
Yeah,
Man. And I hear
yeah.
you. You're right. But like, if the fact that it's going to be coming to Xbox straight day in day, to Game Pass, and they're going to be printing that on the boxes, it's a wrap for as far as that goes. Most
Yeah.
anyone with common sense,
Yeah.
who values their pockets, and like the parents and such, and even the kids after a minute, especially if it's crossplay enabled and things like that, they're going to be like, well, why would I go over here and keep paying to get this when I can get it, what they will say, free with quotations, right?
Right.
And versus me going to pay 70 or 60, whatever it is, on PlayStation.
Well,
To me,
exactly.
it makes more sense.
Perception is a crazy thing, and the thing is like you can say that stuff like Game Pass is quote unquote free because we live in a world of subscription services, right? We live in a world where people don't even pay attention to their Netflix or their Hulu or Disney Plus. That stuff just comes out, and then new movies drop, and they're like, oh wow, I got to watch this instead of paying $60 to go to the movie theater. You know what I mean? So that perception in people's minds of being able to say, okay, well, I could go spend 500 plus 70 to $100 to get Call of Duty for my kid, or I could go grab a Series S and that's it, and pay $1 for a new subscriber and be able to access the latest and greatest Call of Duty. That is going. People don't understand because they're in such a little Twitter bubble and they're in the hardcore crowd. They don't understand how powerful the casual market is. The casual market runs this industry. It pushes this industry. It pushes this industry forward. You know what I'm saying? So for us to say that it's all about us guys are hard. No, it is those casual markets that come out in droves in the millions, and guess where they're going to go? Where the best price and the best value and whatever makes sense for their life. You know what I mean? So it's going to be crazy. I can't believe that it's actually good being out there in the light of day, because this type of stuff is these are things that are said behind closed doors in confidential emails and private phone calls. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that the public is getting access to this information, especially in the midst of all the things going on with the deal.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. Fabio, do you have anything to say about this? You've been pretty quiet.
Well, interrupt anyone, especially because I think the arguments are pretty valid. I'm just curious, like I work there in the US, but seriously, you guys need to pay $60 filters? Seriously?
Well, I mean,
Holy shit.
I'm taking a family. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I go see the latest Marvel or a Batman or whatever, like I'm taking a family. You know what I'm saying?
You're
So,
taking,
but yeah, you're looking
fair
at
enough.
12-13 bucks plus popcorn plus.
Okay.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
thought it
Like you
was the
gotta get your,
individual. I
you know
was
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
worried. I was like, holy shit, the
Nah, it
individual
ain't got that crazy
is
yet, but
Oh goodness.
Jesus
I
Christ.
count it all by the end of the day, man. By the end of the day, you get your popcorn, you get your soda, you get your tickets. You go in with at least one other person. You know what I'm saying? And if you take the family, you know what I'm saying? I'm in it
And
about 60, 70
in
bucks.
And that
exchange,
popcorn is too costly too.
I'm about to
Yeah,
say
if
bro.
Bobby
you
Rich because
if
I'm
you
I'm I'm
order
sneaking in snacks.
if you
Facts.
if you order if
I'm
you
going to dollar store
order a
first.
popcorn if you order the popcorn, you have to give it to them your just to pay for the popcorn, and simple as that.
Yeah, you
But
gotta you
like,
gotta have the popcorn though, man.
I
You gotta
got
have,
I got a
what I'm
trick
saying?
for them, all right.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
yeah,
sneak in a whole sandwich from the on
sneak,
yeah.
sneak a subway, just sneak a subway, simple as that.
Subway and some nips, and you're good to go for that movie.
Exactly,
All
exactly.
you
No
hear
one's
is
gonna
plastic
notice.
opening up inside the theater. I've seen it. You be like, oh yeah, I went to the store too, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
Like when, but like when it comes to the situation with Jim Ryan, I think we're a misunderstanding from Jim, because it felt like Jim saying that Phil Spencer told him that going to be available on PlayStation for 3 years. When I think that Phil Spencer actually meant that the exclusive deals that you guys had with Call of Duty and Activision of PlayStation getting early access to the beta, these exclusive items, this and that, and all that kind of crap. So we are going to honor that for 3 years, and after that, this is all going to be on Xbox, but PlayStation is still going to get Call of Duty normally, no problems. But Jim Riot, I think he thought that, what are you telling me that PlayStation is not going to have not even the game? What do you mean about that? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think that. I think that Jim Ryan, he's just either he's stupid, either he's lying, or this is just a misunderstanding by stating that Phil Spencer said that PlayStation is going to receive Call of Duty only for the next 3 years, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Oh no, he's not stupid. That much is certain.
Yeah, I
He
don't think
could
so.
he could be lying,
Yeah,
or
he could be
he
either
definitely wanted to
lying
make the
or
public
is
get
a,
on his side. You could tell with the way he announced that, like he wanted to
either
make himself look like Microsoft look like the bad guy. That was certain.
either
But
lying
yeah,
or just a misunderstanding of the
oh
situation.
he
Oh, it's
understood.
never a misunderstanding
He
of business.
understood. Yeah, he
Yeah, I'm
So
about
like
to
understood.
what
say, yeah.
like what do you guys think? You think that PlayStation is not going to be receiving anything from Call of Duty after the next 3 years?
No, they will. I mean, I
So
think Phil
that's
No,
what
would
I
have to do
that's what I
no.
something
mean.
anyway.
When those 3 years are over, I believe that they're not going to get it. No,
Anything?
You know what?
Anything? No,
I
no.
think they will, and the reason why I
I
think they
think they
will is
will.
because Microsoft now has to play ball a little bit because of the whole
They will, and they
regulator
should.
situation.
Exactly. They don't. They cannot give the impression that they are going to be a monopoly. That's the thing. Yes, I know Microsoft still is
Well, not
going
even
to
a
still
monopoly
be at
necessarily,
first
Fabio,
place.
for that. It's more the anti-competitiveness for that.
Anti-competitive. Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say that. You know.
Yes. Yes. Fair enough. Fair
And
enough.
Jim Ryan was
A
smart in
monopoly
and
is
of
an
in of the stance of like
look at
gaslighting
Steph.
Microsoft into
Bank,
basically having to
Steph,
react.
please.
Where did
Silence.
everybody
What
go?
happened? What happened?
you're going to say, yeah. Is it just
I don't
me?
know.
Yeah, I thought we lost audio for a
Everybody
second.
looked at his see Steph his chat. That's why it's
And,
like, oh,
and
it's like, oh
Steph,
my God, what did he say?
just mention
Oh
Steph.
God.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
just think that when it comes to this deal and the whole statement of, well, I thought it was a business conversation. I love how he loves to play victim. It's like the bully all of a sudden running the principal's office after he finally gets his behind whooped from the person he's been bullying. Now all of a sudden he wants to cry victim. It's just really ironic to me that that's your problem is you keep finding everything to be a problem. But if it was you, and I had this conversation with a couple guys today on Twitter and in arguments basically. But if it was PlayStation, I even said it to them, never got an answer. If it was PlayStation, would you expect them to do this? And
They
they
know.
never
Yep.
answered me.
They
I
know.
never
Yeah, they
got
know
them
the
cut
answer
off.
already.
Yep.
They always
They're
want
not
to
going
go
to
back
answer.
yeah,
to their
everybody knows the
talking
answer
at
to
some
that
point.
question.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's already understood if it was PlayStation. If it was
It's
Sony,
because
we already knew what would happen.
we all know that this was going to be the situation from since the beginning when Microsoft had their 2013 E3. That was the E3 that made the media turn their backs on only talking and making and only talking good things about PlayStation and bad things about Xbox, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the media has been tuned to that nonsense and that negativity, and
Exactly,
Yeah.
and they are going to keep
yeah.
going. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if
Mhm.
Xbox has changed the way they work, has changed their culture, has added more games, has made good and pro consumer methods and moves and this and that. It doesn't matter for them or for the majority of them. They are still talking about the same Microsoft that force people to buy a more expensive console, less powerful, forcing you to have a Kinect, and that was not going to allow you to have use games on the console, this and that, and had no games, blah 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 blah. We all know the narrative. Like they think that I believe they really think that they are actually dealing with this for some reason.
So
Well, I
here's
think the most interesting thing about this whole situation, sorry, KY, but so has anybody noticed how the silence is very deafening at Xbox after that interview with Jim Ryan? And it makes me think that I think old Jim might have broke some NDAs or some,
mm,
a breach of contract or a breach of communication or something along
I
those lines
wonder.
because we haven't seen anything official out of Xbox in
Yeah.
retort for that, and that is
Well,
his
I
statements
do
were not
agree.
something that could be ignored, nor
I
were
do
they. I
agree
can guarantee
because
that.
anything, so Microsoft being the huge, monstrous, giant corporation that it is, nothing comes out of Microsoft without going through a whole tier of lawyers and making sure everything that hits the public, nothing can be, legally unbinding. And I'm sure that Phil Spencer, I'm sure he made sure that he could say what he said, and then when Jim Ryan said what he said, and you're right, power with Microsoft not having a rebuttal, even that does lead me to believe that this could be. I mean, what what would be what would the landscape look? Because Jim Ryan opened his mouth, he's just breached a contract, and Call of Duty after 2 years will never be on the
Well, I don't know if
PlayStation.
it goes that far, Bob, but I
mhm.
will say this: I do think that it's about optics right now. And the weird thing is like PlayStation is in no position to speak about hiding or hoarding exclusive content because let's face it, they do that. That's their whole mantra. That's their whole mission statement. That's what they do. Correct? I mean,
Yep.
we
Especially
still
with games
find.
that they don't own.
A lot of people have talked about it already, but Final Fantasy is a huge thing. All the little things with Call of Duty that are going on. And then the
Are
big thing
we
for me is the contractual payments to pay devs to keep games off of Game Pass, right? So it's like these very
I mentioned that
specific,
too before. Yep.
very Xbox related language that are in these contracts that are Resident Evil 8, for instance, right, was way back in the day whenever that stuff leaked out and everybody was talking about, oh, there's no way that they could be talking about Xbox or Game Pass specifically, and then lo and behold, all the stuff comes out into the open. And not only were they doing that, but they were encouraging devs not to put their games on Game Pass monetarily. So this is a matter of optics, and it's a matter of what argument are they actually going to be able to bring to the CMA or the FTC and tell them about anti-competitive when their whole mantra is anti-competitive towards Xbox. The entire time that they have been active in making consoles and making games, they have given nothing to Xbox. They have never shared or pushed anything else without kicking and scratching the whole way. Destiny crossplay had a crossplay tax. Fortnite had a crossplay tax, and for the longest time they refused to do it. They were worse than Apple when it came to sharing their content. You know what I mean? Like
We talk
Sony,
about anti-competitive. You
yeah,
also have anti-consumer, the things you're
exactly.
naming. So it's more than just that. It's also them raising the price over the UK and other places,
Exactly. And it's
Australia, and so on and
super
so
weird that they're
forth.
bringing that up while simultaneously wanting to charge more
Hmm.
for their console, wanting to, kick back crossplay, right? That is all obviously very pro consumer, and everybody in the industry has been okay with it except PlayStation. So it's just really weird. I think Jim Ryan might have put his foot in his mouth, and it sounded to me, if you read the quote, there's a lot of emotion in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounded to me like he's got some salt behind what he's saying with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way that he brought it out and the way that he commented on it was just very like petty and like, oh well, if you're gonna say this, I'm gonna say this
Like
kind
you
of
lost
thing.
composure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think he kind of lost his business sense because both companies since then have been very quiet. Xbox has been very quiet, and Sony hasn't said anything official about anything else since this interview. So I would imagine that the next couple of weeks, if something comes out, it could be very interesting to see the ramifications of what was said, because I can promise you right now that stuff was not meant to be said in public or in an interview.
I know I couldn't be like Phil. I couldn't be in this position because
Me either. Nope.
the moment he would have come out and said that, I'm like, oh,
Yep.
you dare? I started talking like a villain or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I'd be
yeah.
putting receipts out on Twitter, man. I'm sorry. I
Hey,
have all those deals every time that y'all wanted to pay to keep something off of Xbox, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 16, 2-year deal with Forspoken, 2 to 3 year contractual agreements with Call of Duty. Like, are we seriously gonna take Sony as the victim for exclusivity rights? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And the audacity for him to say that, oh well, this deal isn't looking out for our gamers. Like, okay, so when did Sony ever look out for Xbox gamers?
They look
When
out
has
for
that
any
ever
gamer.
been? When has that ever been a thing?
They
They
look
don't
out
care
for them, all
about
right.
exactly.
They look to make them come to their side. That's about it.
Yeah, they're looking out and then down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then be
they're
like, well,
probably
come get
going
a
to
PlayStation or you ain't playing.
they're probably going to say we cared about Xbox players when we announced that Destiny was going to continue to be available on Xbox as well as other
Yeah, but
Bungie
that
games.
wasn't their decision, so they couldn't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
front
but
with
yeah,
that.
exactly. But like that, this is going to be a narrative that they are going to be saying. I'd say
Probably
that
so.
it is all bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
am I able to play Street Fighter 5 on my Xbox?
Am
No,
I
Woo!
I'm
am I
not.
able to
Another
play
one.
Final Fantasy 14? Am I able to play Final
Right.
Fantasy Remake? Am I
Remake.
Exactly.
am I able to play Final Fantasy what's the other one they
Am
had?
I able to? Am I able
16.
to? Am
Yeah,
I
Final
able
Yep.
to
Fantasy
be
16.
Spider Man?
Umbra, that hurts.
Am I
Right.
able to
Don't
be
forget,
Spider
guys.
Man?
Don't forget, Final Fantasy 7 is a 3 full games
Mm-hmm.
that are going to be locked behind
That's
PlayStation.
right. I would have said
This isn't one
Forspoken, but that
game.
doesn't look good. But so
Yeah,
you keep that one.
Yeah.
yeah. They can
But
keep they
No,
can
I
keep
wanted
that.
to just to be
They can
petty.
keep that for a while. You know what I'm saying?
No, I would
Let
just
it
say
work
add it
out.
on it so I can make the list longer.
right,
Hey guys, I just want to give a shout out. Just want to give a shout out to It's Steph, J Rock, and Boba Fett Gaming (BFG) for stopping by.
J Rock the
Great
What
Hawk.
to
up,
see
guys?
you
What up?
guys. Yeah,
What's up,
and
guys?
so I want to approach the
J Rock said he do the
something.
show. I just wanted to put him on blast here because I had him in the DM before, and I was like, "Yo, man, would you come on the show?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." So I want him to act like later on, like I ain't nobody never say nothing to me. So you know,
Oh,
Yeah,
are you
me and
really
Jay
doing
were
that?
on K Mega show back a couple months ago. It was fun.
I asked Jay to come on our podcast too, but I think that's the time he's kicking it with his lady. He's like, man, I ain't choosing y'all over some lady. What's wrong with you?
Hey,
I get it.
smart,
I get
smart
it, J
man,
Rock. I get
smart man.
Smart man.
Okay,
yeah, but
Bob
Jay,
Bob
Jay got
smells
a
like
bunch of
Umbra
ladies though.
poo. Yes, there you go. On screen, you see it right there. Yes, I'll come.
Send him the link. Send DM
What's
him
Steph
the
say?
link. That's it.
He
I
said,
don't know.
"K Bob
Steph's
smells like
tripping.
Umbra poo."
Oh wow.
What the
Steph is tripping.
what?
Steph
Must
is
smell like
definitely
must
tripping.
smell like roses then.
Yeah.
He said,
So I got
"Roses."
something for the panel.
What's that?
So this is something that's not. I read it today, and it hasn't been brought up, and I don't know if anybody else has read the same thing I read.
You say you got off
So
Reddit today?
I not on Reddit. I read it.
Hmm.
I'm renew for the
Gosh.
beginning.
yeah,
Oh.
dude.
Okay,
No.
officially Bob is getting information from Reddit. Great.
No, I don't. I don't even have a Reddit account. I don't.
You don't need to have.
I like
Well,
Yeah.
I like how
I don't
K
wanna have
was
one.
taking it so serious to like explain.
Right. You know who does
All
that
right,
too?
so-
Spooky does it. Spooky does it
So-
too.
I read somewhere that if this deal goes through with Activision and Blizzard, of course, Microsoft, they're driving Game Pass. So their Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass. Well, I read somewhere where PlayStation, to combat that, might actually add Call of Duty to their PS Plus subscription. Do you all think Xbox would let that happen?
You know what? Can I
Skills, though.
jump in first? Can I jump in first? This is
Yeah,
the stuff
go
I'm
for it.
talking about with PlayStation, and Umbra's right. I remember having this conversation with a couple of dudes, and I said, I'm petty enough that everything you said during this time frame to make it. Listen, I understand you got to fight for this too. There's a lot of income you're losing. Microsoft talking about making it bi-yearly. So if you make it, I think they were bringing home about 130 million a year.
Yeah,
And
profit.
if you make that times two, that's 270. But if I make it bi-yearly, not only do you could lose players coming to my console, but you'll lose some of that revenue also. So you'll be making, instead of making 270, you'll make 130 or 135 because of those losses. Guess what? I'm not boohooing for you if I'm Phil. As a matter of fact, if I'm Phil, I'm purposely looking to change some COD names like Modern Warfare. I would just call it Modern Warfare. I would take COD right off of it. I would call another one Black Ops. Everybody knows what Black Ops is. I don't have to put COD on top of it. So technically, I can still remove it then. You could have Warzone, you know, because I still make some bread off of that. But I'm petty. I'm not forgetting this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not letting this go. I don't like the fact that he's playing the victim. And it's at this instance, it's annoying that I gotta bend over backwards so that you can get what you want, even though I'm bending over backwards giving you what you want.
Even though I paid 70+ billion for this deal, you have
Oh, you guys are
the
breaking up on
gall.
me.
Can you hear me? You have the gall to be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is inadequate when they paid 70+ billion to acquire these studios rather. And yeah, they can do what they want with it, but it's insane to hear. But I'll say this to answer you, KY. Hell no. The fact that they even have what you call it, Deathloop on PS Plus this month right here is offensive to me. When
Oh my God.
when we haven't heard anything about it coming to Xbox, yeah, it's offensive. Like when I saw that, I was like I put my hand in my chest, like, ugh, like you clutch your pearls. I'm like, what is
the pearls you didn't
all
have?
right? I don't even have any pearls. I was just clenching for something. Like, what is this? I'm looking at to read that. It was like offensive. Like, how are you allowing that? And that's that part where it annoys me. The whole contractual thing. I know it. Like, we'll come to the whole thought of Microsoft is being too nice or whatever, but they're not. I know it's a contractual thing, but the fact that now they have the power, Phil and team would be foolish to sit there and allow that Call of Duty to go into PS Plus. They would be foolish. Much like Bushido said, they could go so many ways with this, including just keeping the main franchise on Xbox alone. While you still get Call of Duty, you get Warzone on PlayStation. They could do that if they really wanted to. And Sony is not going to be like, well, we don't want it when Warzone still brings in millions for them. So they're not going to reject it. Somebody tried to, we were in a space the other day and somebody tried to, I'll just say the person's name. It's no use in me beating around the bush. King Thrash. He came in there.
Why isn't the volcano in?
Oh, you all should have been there. The man tried to compare Call of Duty and saying Sony would reject it if Microsoft decided to do the things we're talking about. I mean, look, they did that to Cyberpunk. We're like, you're comparing Call of Duty to Cyberpunk?
I mean,
like, do you hear yourself?
Did they deny Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online or Minecraft or?
Mind you, he's also ignoring Powerman why they did what they did with Cyberpunk when they took it off the market.
Yeah,
because of the issues it had and the refunds they had to keep giving out.
Yeah,
they're not rejecting Call of Duty. Call of Duty had their top two, most sold games last year.
Yeah, it was number one and number two.
That's right. They're not doing that. Come on. So I just found it crazy to see and hear rather, but no, Powerman. Excuse me, Bob. Just to answer that question, hell no, they would not get any favors. They wouldn't get a thing. They'd be lucky to have the game on their platform.
I agree, and as soon as this stuff came out, I saw this. I immediately tagged Phil, Aaron, Sarah Bond. All I said, good on you for looking out for the future of the Xbox ecosystem and the platform. Listen, I'm not. These Sony guys are going to run out here and they're going to try to play. They're going to try to play like the higher road card, and Phil said that. It's all about the gamer. They're only saying that because every time that Phil and Xbox share a game, that's one more thing. That's one more narrative in their little pocket that they can pull out about Xbox having no games. So now that they've talked about the first party from years ago, not all being day to day on PC or whatever, that whole Xbox got no games narrative started dropping. So whenever I heard this story and they were talking about the potential for, after 3 years losing Call of Duty. Listen, man, that is a bold move. And that if that didn't tell you that they're not looking out for the ecosystem of Xbox, I don't know what is. I don't know if it's true. I don't even know if it's going to happen, but it tells me that their mind is in the right place because listen, at the end of the day, we need competition to drive this industry. And Xbox decided to compete in a way that PlayStation wasn't ready for. And for the longest time, I've been hearing about Xbox is be the behemoth. You know what I'm saying? Be who you need to be. We need you to compete. We need you to compete, blah, blah, blah. Right. And it was always said in jest, but in reality, they woke a sleeping giant and they didn't realize how powerful Microsoft money is, and Microsoft's the only one out here that probably could do it besides Apple, Amazon, as far as buying the Activision. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for a fact Activision went to several people because they were shopping themselves out. It wasn't like
That's
Xbox came
true.
over there
Exactly.
and bent and took Bobby Kotick by the neck and said, "Yo, you coming over here?" And that's how it's going to be. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They pulled the bank account out and said, "Hey, what's it going to take?"
Yep.
And they said the right number, and everybody saw dollar signs, and that's a wrap. You know what I mean? And believe you me, if Sony could have made that deal, because I know they talked to them,
Hmm.
Activision, I know for a fact because they got
Yep.
deals with them right now. I
True.
get, they were probably the first phone call they made,
Yeah.
and,
And the
and
thing
Sony
is,
knows they can't afford them.
Sony just doesn't have the
They
pockets.
yeah,
Right.
they ain't got the money, bro.
Yeah.
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 They don't have the
That's why
pockets.
they
And
They
if
make
can't
so,
do it.
organic
if
moves.
Sony could have bought
Right.
it, they would have bought it, and there would be no
They're
there would be no extra deal. There would be no signed paper. There would be no well, we're gonna honor contracts. None of that, bro.
None of
When
that stuff.
Call of
yeah,
Duty, if they finish it this year, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 would be exclusive to PlayStation. It wouldn't be nowhere else, and everybody would be having to buy a PS5 to play it. That's
let's be
exactly how it would play out.
That's what everyone would expect to, including
let's
PlayStation
Yep.
cats. Yep.
let's be honest. Let's be honest. PlayStation didn't buy Activision Blizzard because they are way too occupied trying to get that organic flow, organic growth.
That
Organic
organic
growth.
argument died so long
We are
ago.
Oh,
still
bro.
we're waiting for
They've
that.
been
Like,
inorganic since Insomniac, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they
Are you
haven't been
sure?
organic
Are you
since
sure
then.
about that? They seem to be quite organic, in my
The
opinion.
biggest studios they purchased. The biggest studios they
Yo,
purchased.
The only organicness they have is that they're full of beep.
Yep. Like imagine whenever they bought Insomniac and Phil Spencer came out and said that Xbox gamers he just looking out for Xbox gamers because they don't get to play Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody would have laughed him off of Twitter because they just they don't have the same energy when it comes to stuff like this. And then they'll say something along the lines, "Oh, Call of Duty's always been third party." Okay, well listen, first of all, Xbox never even officially said they were taking anything off of the platform. If anything, they have a longer history of sharing their games than PlayStation does at all.
Yeah.
I can't think of one thing that Sony has shared with the rest of the gaming community. Hell, even
MLB.
even Nintendo and Xbox were getting cozy because Minecraft is so popular. You know what I'm saying? So they knew they had to play ball. But Xbox is sharing Minecraft, Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online. It obviously handling contracts with Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, which Xbox players still to this day don't have. Right,
Which they threw inside their subscription thing too. That
yes,
was
it's
another
on
one.
their subscription.
Yep.
It's actually marketing their console, and that's a first party owned thing. So the idea of Jim like coming out
Look how
here and trying
dirty
to
that is. That game hasn't even come to Xbox yet.
it
And they
has
did that
not
on
touched the
purpose. You can't tell
platform.
me he didn't.
Yeah, it has not touched the platform. So it's super hypocritical for Jim Ryan to be out here talking about that. And maybe that'll leverage it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what that's going to mean. But if I'm looking at that as a person who would be in charge of watching out for the anti-competitive nature of things, I would say I don't see how you have a leg to stand on. I don't see how Sony could have any right to be upset when you've played dirty for 8 to 10 years now since the Xbox One launched and you jumped on it like a shark. You know what I mean? And at that point, what else can you say? You know?
There's nothing. They have nothing to say. You got a question by Pete in the chat. He says, "Will Deathloop be on Xbox September 15th?"
My guess is no. I'm going to
No.
say no.
I'm gonna say
You know,
yes.
did you know that
because we've
Sony still has
already.
the option to keep paying for that to be exclusive? That
Yeah.
exclusive
Well,
timing? I don't know if you can
right,
say no
but
to it or not, but I
Like,
know they have that
if you
option.
think
like
about
take
it,
into
though, even they're paying Microsoft, and Microsoft is already seeing a shortage of games this fall and this winter from their first party developers, and I think they're going to take every opportunity to load every game in for the holiday
Yeah.
that they can.
like
I,
like take into consideration that right now we are at September 8th, and not just because of the game announcements at this end of the year that we are going to be having with Microsoft, but I believe that Xbox Game Pass already reviewed the games that are going to come out for this month, right? Did they review that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, and was there Deathloop? So no,
Nope.
those are the best arguments that I have to say that no, it's not going to be released on Xbox on September 15th.
My thinking is it's possible, and I've heard a few people speak on it from Rand to I think Colt Eastwood, and I think Rand he said that he think it might come on the 20th, which is the same day it'll drop on PS Plus. I don't know how that would work out. It seems to be the case that with Sony, from what we've heard, knowing past deals, that they don't want it being on another service or platform at the same time if it's launching into their service that way. So I'll be interested in seeing how that works out. But I've heard from Risk when we talked about it. He was saying that really only pertains to third party supposedly, and not first party now, since they're now first party. So I don't know. I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. But I will say, if it's a matter of that, it's delayed and we would get it maybe, I don't know, October, that would be slightly annoying to me too. Just because we all figured it would September 15th, that's the day when it's over with. We'll get it on Xbox, and they can't advertise it. They can't say anything until that contract is fulfilled. So it's
Yeah, but it's
slightly
still
annoying.
annoying me because you're doing the same thing still again that you're worried
Mhm.
about happening to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
And
We'll see what happens.
so, I mean, and then the same thing. So, Ghostwire Tokyo, that's one of those games that's kind of up there in the air as well because that was acquired at the same time Deathloop was acquired.
I don't
So,
know if it's if they have the option um to keep paying for that one. I'm not sure. But I do know they have the one for Deathloop though.
and shout out to Wilmy Hood. I saw him on Twitter today saying that he's got 5 hours in Ghostwire, and it's 5 years. It's 5 hours that he can never get back. So
Man.
apparently, it's
Overwhelming, I tell
pretty
you.
boring.
Well, it's a very niche game, man. It has a lot of
Yeah.
like, it's for a specific type of gamer. I feel, and I think that's what they were going for with it. I actually am kind of interested in Ghostwire Tokyo. I think it looks kind of cool because I like the whole like paranormal, hand signals and demons and stuff like that. I think that's kind of cool. But
You mean that whole Naruto thing?
yeah, like I like that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like the
Shout
whole thing
out
that they
to a
do.
new one in the chat. Games trailers,
AKA Game
Oh,
It's
Zero.
yo,
Game Zero.
yeah,
Hey,
Game Zero.
So
That's Game
Game Zero
Zero.
says supposedly Deathloop won't
Yeah.
come out until 9/15 because the game is still in development for Xbox. I don't believe that, Game Zero. I think they're finished with the Xbox version already.
Game
I
Zero.
don't.
That's my best buddy, man. It's my man's games.
Yeah,
It's not how I sound.
I think that there's something in the contract. I don't know how long it's going to go out, but my guess is something may have come out as far as like the subscription services because that would be really strange for it to drop on the subscription and then the same month it being dropped in Xbox. I could be wrong. I mean, if that is the case, then that'd be great. That'd be a great thing for Xbox players to enjoy, this fall.
But you
You know
can't
what I
tell me
mean?
that's not a tactic, though, that they purposely did because of the fact that, look, we know what's going on Game Pass, but if we put it into our service, it'll keep anybody from looking at it as a positive or moving over to Xbox. It's
Right.
almost like spoiling the party.
Yeah, right. The fact that it already exists in a subscription service takes any of the air out from under the sales of it being a really heavy hitter into a Game Pass. Because it's already a PS Plus, so who cares? You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Right.
Right.
Everything that Sony does is meant for that, man. It's always like a little underhanded. It's always
Yep.
it reminds me of that bully in school that's like throwing stuff at you when the teacher ain't looking and smiling as soon as they look back. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're always
That's what I
they're
said.
always
Yeah,
doing
basically.
something. Always trying to like kick you under the desk when ain't nobody looking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Yep. I agree with you on that. What's up, Mav? Yeah, I'm feel you on that, Power Man. But the thing is, like,
Hey, man,
it's like you
how's it
said,
going?
PlayStation always has that kind of underhanded kind of play that they do. No matter what, they have this kind of underhanded pettiness that I really wish Phil and team would emulate. That whole they go low, we go higher thing. That's
Right.
Yeah,
dead.
I'm not. That's
That's
not me.
dead. Yeah, skip
Yeah.
that.
That's
I'm
why.
petty
That's why
too.
I tagged him exactly. I would love. Listen, and I know it's selfish, and I know that we're all like, we all prefer our platform and all this kind of stuff. But I would love to see Phil coming out and really swinging when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to, I know that it's hard because Microsoft has said is this big mega corporation, and so people already. And if you watch the Xbox documentary, you know what I'm saying, like Microsoft had this like megacorp bad, type reputation whenever they were first starting to try to make the original Xbox. You know what I mean? They were worried about going into the living room because they were like, well, Microsoft, and they didn't even want to call it anything. They didn't want Microsoft in the name because of the reputation that it kind of has, a big megacorp that has a lot of money. And so but I don't listen. Xbox has done enough for the gaming community over the course of the last like 20 years. I would love Phil Spencer to come out there with some heat, you know what I mean, and calling it out or doing something that was just so, such a hit, which they may very well be doing. Man, this Call of Duty thing, if this comes to fruition and this is real, oh man, this is I don't even know what to call it. This is this
Yeah,
might be.
we need that Peter Moore energy. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Peter Moore
Peter
embraced the
Moore knows
console
what's
war.
up, man. He
Yeah,
knows
he
what's up.
embraced the console. That's what we need. We need that Peter Moore energy. Phil
Yeah.
is, I'm sure Phil is probably a shark in the background, but we need to see some of those teeth, what I'm saying, out in the front.
See him come.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. Yep.
And a lot of people they always want to lately, and I understand that there is some toxicity that's involved with that, but I gotta say, because I am a fan and I am a fan of gaming and I understand, but listen, like healthy competition and healthy rivalries is good for the industry, right? And this industry, this gaming industry, Sega, Nintendo, Dreamcast, all these other things that we talked about from way back when, we this industry is made on the backs of fans of these consoles, man.
It's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying?
Yep.
Like we built the reputation and the brand and everybody that talks about it, like everybody showing up wearing
We
an
built
Xbox shirt
this
versus a
city.
play. I mean, that's dead
We built
serious though. You
this
know what I mean?
city on
A lot of
games,
people act
games,
like
games.
a lot of people act like this
On
stuff is
console wars, you missed
the
a good
console
part.
war is bad and
We
toxic and
built
this and that.
this
No,
city on
I understand some
console
people, but
wars.
There you
I'm
go.
just
That was
saying.
even better.
But I'm just saying that like I don't see nothing wrong with being a fan and loving what you love, you know what I'm saying, and putting it out there. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to take it to a personal level. I understand that kind of stuff, but lately it's just been it's just everybody gets dismissed as a console war thing, and it's like no, it's
Yeah.
not always like that.
Yeah, you can be competitive and kind of gamey with it. Like you don't have to sit there and play nice all the time. Like this whole kumbaya attitude people are supposed to have.
Nah.
Oh, risk it. We built this city.
Hey, listen, you want to see
We
the
built
opposite of
this city
kumbaya?
on
Go watch a
console
Philadelphia Eagles game.
wars.
Us.
Holy
See,
shit.
risk. I could if
What is
your
going
little one
on?
heard my soothing voice, it would soothe him.
We're sitting there singing.
All right, guys. We
Pete,
need to
Pete said
change
it
it up a
best
little
too.
bit.
Competition breeds, it breeds innovation. That's right.
Yeah. See,
No,
look,
no. Listen,
that's what I'm
One more
saying.
thing to add to that. If we didn't have competition, you already see with competition that PlayStation will keep themselves in check inside countries Microsoft is in. The countries Microsoft don't have a big presence in, they're jacking up the price for the console. That's proof enough right there that they would go.
You know what's sad though, Bushido?
They
The
would go.
sad part is the PlayStation gamers, they're defending that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
like you
does
can't win
everybody
for losing.
remember? So does everybody remember the shambles that Cyberpunk 2077 released in?
Yes, I still love it.
And
though.
how those that were playing on Series X, PS5, or PC, although their experience wasn't perfect, it was also not game breaking either. But those that were stuck on PS4 and Xbox One had a horrible experience. Well, it has come out that the first DLC for Cyberpunk 2077 will not be available for the PS4 or the Xbox One. It is going to be a next gen only experience DLC. About time.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
I agree.
Just cut it off. Rip the cord out.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
So
I think they should do that with Halo.
Yeah.
I think they
no.
should do that with Halo, man. I think they should cut them. I think that the game might be better off if they were able to develop it
That's a good
with the
point.
power.
Just for
You know what I'm
one
saying?
platform. Yeah.
You
Heard
know.
that,
Nope, I
I heard
think
that debate
nope,
long
I
ago, Power Man.
don't.
People said they should have done it to
Here's the
begin
thing.
with.
Do you guys
Here,
agree with that situation, or
100.
how do you feel
no,
about that? Yeah.
not
100%.
necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Why is that?
Oh, okay,
Because
Fabio.
when
Okay.
the developer they announce that the game is going to be available on those specific platforms, I want the game to support those specific platforms. If you are going to just say, you know what, fuck it, we are going to take away the platform that we just promised that we are going to support, you are being a coward.
Well, yeah, but
Like
it can still be supported, but it can
doesn't.
support it through
No, no,
cloud
you.
gaming, cloud streaming, cloud streaming. If you want to play Halo on an old Xbox One, you're gonna have to do it with a hardline connection. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
Yeah, well,
Fabio, why do you think it's cowardly?
okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing they do because it gives me the impression that I always hated that when a game gets released and it doesn't live up to the expectations, people say if the game doesn't do well on at release, the game is already dead, the game is already a failure. Don't buy it, don't support it, don't try to fix it, just make a new game of it and that's it. I hate that. Why is that? I
but
just hate this fucking culture because I prefer to, if I
I
bought the
actually
damn
agree with you.
game, if I bought the damn game, I want for it to be enjoyable. I want for it to be fixed. I don't want to, you know what? I am a sucker because I just decided to buy a game that they are not going to support anymore
yeah,
because it
Fabio,
didn't live up
who's
to the
buying an
expectations I
Xbox One in
released.
2022 though?
That's the
You know what
biggest
I
No,
mean?
point.
I'm
Like
It's an
not
that's
under
saying
it's an underpowered concept, Fabio. Like
no. I'm not.
everybody who let me ask you, do you have a Series S or X?
I have an S.
Yeah, so why would you care about it being on Xbox One?
No, here's the thing. You asked me
Why
why
are
I
you
think it's
attacking Fabio
gorgeous
like that?
because here's the thing. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good.
I'm
Like
tired of his hair flowing in the wind while he's eating this. I can't believe it's not buttered toast. I'm tired of this, Bushido.
I can't believe it's
uh,
not butter.
While he's
Now,
strolling around on his horse. No,
no,
no, it's
no,
Put
enough.
his
I
shirt
just
all
want
open.
to
no.
Right.
I
I
just
don't
want to
know
throw
if I am
something back at Fabio real quick, okay? So
oh, fuck's
I
sake.
understand. I understand what Fabio is saying. And if you look at the if you look at
Excuse
the
me, guys.
last if you look at the last console generations from when one generation handed off to the other, yes, we had games that were cross generational, like Destiny. Destiny was both on the 360 and the One. Yes, we saw hardware differences, but it was still possible. This console change is extremely different because of the introduction of the SSD. We've got virtual memory files now on our SSDs that are able to be offloaded and onloaded just as fast as the RAM in our systems. And programmers are using this. And when you're basically writing two completely different types of code when you're using virtual memory on a SSD for RAM that's not available, and then when you try to run that on an old system that's running on a mechanical drive, it's just not possible. Things crash, things don't load in. Cyberpunk, we saw people floating, we saw guns floating. It was just crazy. It was a mess.
I think that's the
This
biggest problem for the
generation is
generation.
different because
Yeah.
of the SSD. The SSD
Here's the
has
thing.
really changed the game.
Here's the thing. I'm speaking. All that I'm saying is because of the perspective that I have for living, buying, and playing games in Brazil. Yes, who is going to buy an Xbox One? Well, probably the person who is not able to spend 5,000 Brazilian reais on a Series X or 3,000 Brazilian reais on a Series S. Things are really,
I,
really
I and I
expensive
and
here.
I get that. I get what you're
You know,
saying
I
there,
know, I
Fabio. But
know,
that's
I
why
know
the
that we have
streaming
it.
exists. That's why
Yes, I
the
know that
X
we
Cloud
have
exists. You know what I'm saying?
for
Uh,
Halo. Yes, that's an advantage. What about Cyberpunk?
Well, my thing is this, Fabio.
well,
This is the thing, and I understand that in different countries and things like that. But gaming is a selfish hobby, brother. I'm not playing this to wonder about what somebody over there in the third world country or somewhere else was like. Oh, they can't play it because they don't have an Xbox One X. I'm going to be honest with you. and I don't want it to
Brother,
sound
I
mean,
live
but
in a
I
third world
I
world.
hear you, brother, but
Thanks.
I'm just
Thank you
being
so
honest. When
much
it
for
comes
that.
to gaming, though, I'm just saying in general, nobody goes to thinking about, well, what about that person over in
I'm not gonna lie, I
Uzbekistan?
actually do. I actually do.
I don't. I'm just gonna be honest.
Like when the price
When it
when the
comes to
price
me
hikes
getting a
came up,
game like that,
when the
well, the
price
price
hikes came up
I
in
get
my head, I
empathy.
was upset about it because I didn't think it was fair to other countries that don't have the money like that. And I was like, man, that's kind of messed up that you say that we're not making as much money, I guess you could say. So we're gonna jack the price up in other countries. And then you hear people over here like, I mean, well, they have to because they're not making enough money. And I'm like, they're
Now that's a
billion-dollar
different argument,
corporations.
though, right?
I know
Now, if
that.
you're
I know
talking
that. I'm
about
just
hiking
saying
the
though.
right, if you're hiking
I
the
am
price,
saying
that's
though.
one
Yeah,
thing.
it does concern me when other people in other countries that don't have the money or the resources to be able to get what we
It
get.
depends on the situation. If they hike the price, absolutely. But if
Right.
it's an established price and we're moving to a new gen like we're moving to, I would
Mhm.
expect those who want to play the games that we're going to be playing to move on to the next gen. If they cannot, it's unfortunate, but that's how gaming has always been. This is not new.
Yeah.
This is not some new system where they're like, well, now I can't play these games on this. Every console we've had from Atari 2600 on up has left you behind if you did not move on to the next console. That's just the truth of it. And I'm not trying to say it to be mean, but when
No.
I moved on to the X, I'm
You are
not worried
being
about the one anymore. I'm just going to be, it's an underpowered
And-
console. That's why when we're talking about getting the best bang out of our buck for what we've paid for, yes, I want the best. That means I want them to give me the best experience with Halo. So if that means cutting off the Xbox One because we can get better ray tracing or whatever it may be that they add that they obviously dodged and didn't give us, if they can give us better frames, if they can give us better visuals because they moved to a better and stronger engine, then yes, I'm going to advocate for that.
And saying fuck you to the
And
people that
well,
are
no,
not
No,
able
I'm not
to
saying
buy.
I'm not going
Yeah,
to say fuck
listen.
you to
that
them.
just sounds like to
I'm not
me.
going to talk about them at all. I'm just going to be like,
Well,
look,
I
so
feel like this got lost because I brought this up.
Acknowledge their existence.
So
Right?
no,
Just kidding.
whenever I
Just
but
whenever
kidding.
I said
that's
that
not
about
why I got into
Halo,
gaming. I didn't get into gaming to worry about somebody over somewhere I don't know about.
Yes, I
None of us
understand, but
did. None of
I
us did.
right?
understand.
I know it
But
sounds mean, but none of us got into gaming to be worried about somebody we do not know in some
Oh
other
yeah.
country. None of
Numbers
us.
tripled it down.
I
I'm
do
just being
understand.
real. I'm not even trying to
No, no,
sound
I
mean.
do.
I know it comes
No
off that way, but
worries.
I did not get into
I
it
do
for that.
understand that.
You know what I
I do
mean?
understand that. It's just because like gaming has become so much expensive as time went by, and in Brazil things got so worse that like a game is like 400 Brazilian reais. Like it's not everyone is able to buy a game. And when finally I'm not saying that I'm not able to sleep at night because someone that I don't even know is not going to be able to play that game. No. I bought the next gen console at the first year of its release because I wanted to be already ahead of the game and I wanted to get the next gen experience. Okay, great. But like what I mean is the person that was not able to experience this particular game at release and is going to have to wait a year or 2 years for to finally get a chance to buy the game, to have enough money to buy the game. When they finally get to experience the game, the developer just say, thanks for the money, we're not going to support you anymore, but thanks anyway. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
in that aspect, I agree with you, Fabio. And now
This is
I would
this is all that
say,
I say. This is all that I'm saying. I do know that xCloud and Game Pass are amazing. They are very necessary features. I would just shut the hell up right now if I knew that every single game was available on xCloud. That's a fact. But that's not the reality that we have right now. Cyberpunk is not coming at this moment in time to the X Cloud
Game
program.
Pass or anything, yeah.
So my
but
argument still stands. You know what I mean? For
I
Halo, I do agree, but
I hear you,
Cyberpunk,
Fabio. And like I
that's
said, I want to reiterate something because I brought this up. So whenever I say that I think that that should be for Halo, I'm talking about like solely in the space of the health of the game itself, right? Like I
Mhm.
understand that there are people out in this world that can't afford gaming, and that's why they probably made that decision because we were in the midst of a pandemic, and they did the same thing with Cyberpunk. But guess what? They sacrificed CD Project Red for doing that. right? They probably knew deep down that that game could not run on an Xbox One and a PS4, but they decided to do it because they were in a tight situation. What do? Right? Nobody
Yes,
can get a
yes.
PS5, nobody can get a Series X, so you got to drop it. My point that I was trying to make is I'm saying that basically if it meant that the health of Halo and the moving forward of the next generation of Halo meant dropping the Xbox One right now, I'm saying I would be willing to say that's okay, because that would mean that Halo could move on and do it. There's a reason why the CD Projekt Red is deciding to drop these last generation consoles, and I understand that scaling exists, and I understand that x86 and that these games are scaling very well. However, there is a limit. That's why there are generations. That's why 360 games couldn't run on the original Xbox and all the way back down the line. Right there, you reach a point whenever the console is just wiped out. There's nothing else. There's nothing else you can do, and that's
Hmm.
why I applaud Xbox for investing in cloud infrastructure, for allowing people to have access to low latency Series X blades that they can access this content. Now, I think it would be very fair to say, hey, if we were going to make something that was going to be next generation and not put it on the Xbox One, but this exists, and if you have the internet and you have the good connection, you can access this game. No, it is not going to be
Yes.
perfect, but let's face it, like if that's how you have to play and you're in that financial situation, then that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unfortunate, but I do feel that some of these games, especially between 2020 and 2022, have suffered because they have included the
Agreed.
previous generation of games. You know what I
And
mean?
and that's what I'm
That's just
saying.
my
Like, where
opinion.
where do we draw that line? Is what I'm saying. Like, and I understand it if it's a previously existing game. So on that part, I get you, Fabio. But I'm talking about going forward, right? Next year
Mhm.
and forward beyond that, a lot of these games are supposed to be current gen only. Xbox Series S, X, PS5.
Yes.
So what happens to those who are on PS3 or PS4 or Xbox One X? What then?
Hmm.
So
Well,
what
well, let
what
me
what what becomes the
can
argument
I
after
just can
that
I
point
just
is what I
real
want to
quick?
know.
But that's the difference.
Can I
But
do
that's the
something real quick,
difference.
guys?
But that's the difference. We are talking about games that were announced to be released on this previous
Got you.
gen
And
consoles, not
I
these
feel
games
you on
that
that.
were
And that makes
announced
sense what you
on the
said.
next gen. That
Yeah,
that's only what I'm talking about. Like
I feel
if
you.
they,
But let me ask you
I,
what happens after that though. What for you happens after that fact when a lot of these games are only going to work on next gen or current, as we would say, current gen consoles. What then? What would be the argument?
well, that's the normal state of things because they announced the games to be only available on the next gen console, so they are going to be only released on the next gen consoles.
Okay.
It's not like
I just
we
wanted to
are
hear your thought on it.
that like that's the only thing that it means. Like the thing that this this entire argument started because it might have been a mistake, but still it's a mistake that they've made and they need to show us, they need to stand for what they promise. Like we are going to release and support this game on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Series X, Series S. And now they are going to say fuck you for those of you that didn't buy already a Series S, a Series X, and a PS5. When it is a completely different situation when they make a game and they announce it. This is only going to be available on Series S, Series X, and
PS5
PlayStation 5.
and PC, of
Only.
course. Yeah,
Exactly. Of course.
so
That's all.
on that
That's
point,
all that I
I
mean.
would agree with you. I understand where you're coming from. This is my problem and where I was coming from.
Hmm.
Is like, and I agree with Power Man. It should never have been the case that they announced it for next last gen
Yes.
consoles. It should never
That,
have happened.
Right.
thanks.
Yeah.
That's what.
Let me.
That's
You mind if
I
I
agree with
jump in
that.
real quick,
Yeah. Go
guys?
ahead.
'Cause
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got a
Go
middle
ahead.
ground for this. Um,
Go.
I think in the context of what's best for the generation is what we were talking about. I was joking a little bit, and I shouldn't have because it threw a little more fuel on the fire. Because I understand what Fabio's saying, and I do empathize with that. And I know that Umbra is not saying that. Umbra is actually just saying, in the sense of outside of everything else and just gaming, it is better to be able to abandon the old consoles because for the sake of gaming going forward now, that's going to happen actually pretty soon, if you ask me. I think it's going to start seeing more and more of it next year. And as you see, they're doing it now with like Gotham Knights and things like that. And I don't, and I'm not, and I was just joking when I said he didn't care. He just being mean. I was just joking around too much, and I have to learn sometimes to not do that. But I know that's not what he meant. It just was too big an opportunity to jump on him. But I think that I think that's all he really means inside this conversation and context is that it is best for gaming, period. And I have to agree because we had a conversation, I think last week, guys, about why was gaming in this generation having so many glitches and so many problems.
Right.
And when you think of it, I think most of it comes from cross-platform games and not being able to concentrate on just one platform. Mm-hmm. And since you can't concentrate on one platform, you bouncing back and forth with a problem that you can't fix, and you wonder why the game gets delayed. And the game gets delayed because you're trying to fix a bug that is not messing up the S or the X, but might be messing up the one. But the one that they fixed finally on the Xbox One X, Xbox One, messes up the Series S and X. Like it could absolutely go back and forth like that. So I can see the benefit of for gaming that would be the benefit of dropping the other console. And I think that one of the things you do have to work hard on, and I think even studios need to work on this, is being able to allow your game to stream. And I don't know how you do it because it would have to come through your streaming service, but there should be something that helps other countries like that be able to stream games that are new. But they have to buy service too, though. But it's a whole mess with that. But it is unfair. But as far as for gaming going forward, though, it is better because the games, I think, will come out in a better state. And and that's just that, yeah. But like I said, that's my fault because I play too much.
And I'll say it like this, man. Like, and I know this is just speaking for me, right? This is just my opinion, and it's just me talking about it. But in my opinion, man, I think that this generation, especially the last 2 years, has suffered greatly in that the games have not been mind-blowing because they have been previously developed for the previous generation, right? And we can add the frames and we can add the textures and we can do all this stuff, but let's face facts. If there was a game that was developed on the new console for the new console, those games are going to be a lot different and a lot more robust and dynamic than anything that could run on an Xbox One or a PS4. Now, I'm not saying that to completely ditch it, but there was a lot of articles and a lot of statements that were made about the time frame, and we've roughly hit that time frame. Even Sony, back when the PS5 launched, said that they were only going to be supporting it into 2024. You know what I mean? And we are rapidly approaching that. And the PS4 sold, almost 4-1, 4.5-1 on the Xbox One versus the PS4. So I think that cloud streaming could be the future. I think that it's really great. I mean, dude, think about this, man. Like, that's a great option. Whereas, people have Umber talked about it before. 10 years ago, if you had a console and there was a new console coming out, man, that was it. That was a wrap. You might get like 1 or 2 games that come out for it after that, and then that's it. You know what I mean? So having that option, I think, is good. And I don't think that they should like take Halo off of the Xbox One, platform as it stands. But I do think that like going forward, that games will be better off without Xbox One being supported. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
Look,
but that's a fact.
Real quick, guys, I want to hijack the air again. Hey, Gray Monad, I need to ask you something, man. Is Steel Rising or Steel Rain? Is that any good? Because I looked at it before and it looks like it's pretty
I
good.
keep hearing people say stuff about that game. I haven't seen
IGN
anything
gave it
about
a 6.
What?
Yeah, IGN gave it a 6. They say you're better off playing Thamisia.
so it's really a 9.
Wow.
Okay, gotcha.
He said really a 9. Can't trust IGN, ignorant ass. No,
I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear, like that. I don't mind progress when it comes to gaming. What I mean is when a company says and promises one thing, and then after that they just decide to scratch the promise and say fuck you, we are going to move on because
I
this
agree.
is necessary for progress. If we are okay, if everyone is okay with scratching resources in supporting previous gen consoles from games that promise supports since released on those previous gen consoles, then we should not complain about 343 canceling couch co-op in Halo. You know what I mean?
I'll
This
be
is
honest.
the
I'll be
comparison
honest
that
with
I
you. I
make
hear
with
you on
you.
that too. That makes sense. I didn't really complain about couch co-op. It was just the straw
Hmm.
that broke the camel's back. I
Understand.
personally don't even use couch co-op anymore.
I'm
Most
about
of
to
us
say,
don't.
who does in any game
Yeah, most of us
anymore?
don't. It's just the straw that broke the camel back because 343 has had so many broken promises and issues. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I do
yeah.
get what you're saying though,
Yeah,
Fabio,
but
100%.
still,
If you made that promise, if you said that's what you're going to do, you're going to have to stick. And that's the problem. They
Yeah.
should.
exactly,
The moment they said it was coming to last gen consoles, all of us complained. I remember that because I know I was
Yep.
one of
exactly.
them. And I was
And
like,
like, and
why
here's
do
the
that?
thing.
We're moving forward to the Series S
And
and
here's the
X.
thing. And here's the thing. If they announced the games on only next gen consoles, this would never be a discussion. I
That's a
wouldn't be
fact.
talking all the shit that I'm talking right
Well,
now. This
You
is
know,
a
the pandemic has really this generational change. When the pandemic hit is when this generational change happened, and because of the chip shortage, consoles were at a premium, and so developers still had
It's
titles that were
scalpels.
ready to go. So they had to
Yep.
make them play on the consoles that they knew they had in the market.
Right.
And it's really hampered this generational change
And
this
if you
time
transfer
around.
everything over to UE5, it's going to cost you another 6 months to a year. And
Right.
you're right. Those companies have been already developing those games for 5 or 6 years. And what happens is you get the CFOs and people over top saying, "Hey, this quarterly's coming up. You know, we got stock, we got shareholders. We got to start showing something." Or even the CFOs just looking like, "Hey, I got to have this out so I get my bonus." You know what I mean? Unfortunately, that's how it works. So you get that. Unfortunately, in gaming, I think we'll continue to still get that because of that selfish nature of the owners and people who run the studios.
yeah. By the way, for Steel Rising, Jedi and I believe Palpatine, they said ACG had good things to say about it. So, and ACG has pretty good reviews, just to say Bushido.
Oh, he said that they have a
Yeah, positive reviews of Steel
okay.
Rising. So yeah.
But yeah, but wait. But Gray, you played the game. You got a clip up here on this on Xbox. Well, how come you can't answer for that? Huh?
Well, he says it's
oh
not a bad
shit.
game in the chat.
So I'm talking, and he not going to talk back, huh? No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
But
talk to me, boy.
yeah, you can't hear
Boy,
me.
Kratos. Everyone knows Kratos. Boy.
Boy,
Yeah, boy.
Wait a
watch
second.
your
Wait a second.
tone,
Wait a second.
boy.
Wait. Stop. Everyone, stop talking. Umbra, go on. Do Kratos.
Watch your tone, boy.
That's
Okay,
I
good.
have to
it's
admit,
so
he got that
That's
good.
better than
good.
me. I will
Good.
admit, he got that better than me.
It's so good.
All right. So I'm going
Christ.
to get into a subject next that kind of made me a little sad because I was super hyped about this title, and I thought, this could possibly save my fall to late fall 2022. Unfortunately, though, Atomic Heart has been delayed to this winter, which is January, February, maybe early March of 2023. Now, there is a shiny side of the coin
Oh, I
here.
heard so,
Of
man.
course, with the dark side being, yes, it's been delayed. They never really had a solid 2022 date. They said it would be out in like dot 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 burr, which is any month that ends in burr, which you got September, October, November. It was up in the air anyway. Well, they've come out and um, they have said that it's going to be delayed until winter, which means the earliest of 2023. But the caveat here is that Mundfish, the developer of Atomic Heart, they have actually teamed up with A Plague's Tale, Requiem, and Evil West publisher Focus Entertainment as the publisher. They said that they've done this to ensure a flawless release this winter. Expected January to March 2023 release date. Focus is they're pretty good. I mean, we've already seen A Plague's Tale, Requiem, and we know that's on track. And what's everybody think about this? Because yeah, I mean, it sucks that it's not going to be here, but now that I know that Focus Entertainment is on board, we could see an even better release than we would have gotten if it had been on time.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in. I think it's a good thing for that reason. As I pointed out in the chat I was in, I said you could a delayed good or great game is much better than having a on time mess,
Fact.
right? So yeah, I think, and it's only like it's like what January until what March 30th maybe is winter
Mhm.
for us. So that's not bad.
Right.
That's we can tolerate that. That's only a few months. That's
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, I'll wait for that. That game looks to be a actual like it's going to be really great. It looks
Yes, it
pure
does.
next gen too. Like that is something that I'm talking about when we're talking about moving forward. Like that is a game that moved forward clearly, like visually, you can see it. So yeah, I'm 100% behind them doing that. Why not? And plus, they're dealing with so much over there anyway, being in Russia and everything like that. I can only imagine the stress and things like that is hindering them and things like that. Yeah,
We've seen
I'm
it
all
with
for it.
Stalker. So
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. So I'm
Totally.
all for it. Makes sense to me.
Anyone else? No one else?
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
I
well,
agree
give us
with
a
the
chance,
sentiment.
Bob.
It's fine. Yeah.
Jeez, why was our room to Jack? I'm like, man.
We all were quiet though.
He just
Before
wants
Power
It
to-
Man
was
jumped
pretty
in.
quiet. I think
Well,
everybody
you
just
are the host. You're supposed to tell us who's next. You know?
Bob believes in freedom. He's like, hey, jump in.
Wait a second.
He does give a lot of freedom. I'm not even gonna lie.
right.
Yeah.
I don't have
No. What are,
panelists. I have co-hosts.
Yeah.
well, I guess we
So
should.
Power Man,
find
you
it.
next? You going up next, Power Man?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can be quick with that because I agree in every aspect of it. I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like that's something that can wait. I mean, I've always been a proponent of, if it takes more time, then let it cook. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have a late game than a bad game. You know what I mean? So I got no problem. I got no problem with that. Like let it sit, let it cook. Do what you guys need to do. Because far too often nowadays in the gaming industry, man, and we talked about this earlier, but we're getting a lot of busted games day one, and it's very disheartening to spend good hard-earned money on a game and it not work or not function properly. You know what I'm saying? So, I say that with any game. I'd rather have a delay. You know what I mean? And I can go back to Halo. I think that they could have. I think they would have been way better off in optics if they would have delayed it until 2023. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it could have came out. And it could have been a nice, fresh, easy launch, and they could have.
Dude, this still would have been missing content.
Yeah, maybe.
I really do believe it would have. I don't think no matter how much time you'd have gave it.
I know. At some point I'd be like, "Yo, delay it to 2027." I mean, damn,
Right.
we ain't gonna have a Halo 10 should have been out by now. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? What's crazy though? They would have been delayed until like they still had missing content, but Forge would at least would have been free at that point, coming out
and the co-op situation could have been figured out, and
Yeah.
they could have had like more than a couple of maps. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have had like maybe 10 maps ready to go, or a good solid number, and maybe drop with 1 or 2 battle passes, and then Project Tatanka, right? It could release alongside of it. You know what I'm saying? As like a a robust version of what it could have or whatever. So I think
Power
that what?
Okay, Power Man, can you repeat that? Siri didn't understand that.
Yeah, I know this thing's like
Siri
yelling
didn't
at me for no
understand it.
reason over here. But yeah, I say any game that needs more time, and then give it more time. You know what I mean? I've always been a proponent of that. Listen, we've all of us gamers, especially us hardcore gamers, we got backlogs. And if you don't got a backlog, then you ain't doing it right, because we all got stuff that we could be playing. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
I think that even with the light showings that we're going to be having in the fall and the winter from Xbox. I mean, I don't know one person on this panel or in this chat that doesn't have something they need to play that they've been meaning to play for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So knock out those backlogs until Modern Warfare 2 comes out.
Yeah, backlog season for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why all my gameplay has been Abode games for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's because it's backlog time, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it really is, man. And a lot of people we get really caught up in news and hype, and it's fun, right? Because we pay attention to the industry, and every Monday I get kind of excited to get on Twitter because back for the longest time, it was like Mondays were crazy. You know what I mean? Like something was going down in the beginning of the week, whether it was from Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. But there's a lot of good games out there that I still haven't gotten to, and I still want to play. And with every game that comes out, man, my backlog gets bigger and bigger. And as adults with children and jobs, careers, and everything else, like the days of being able to take an entire day and lock myself in a room and play something are kind of over. So like as a real world gamer, you know what I'm saying, like those couple hours I get a day are like precious. You know what I mean? So there's always something else to play. So I would say anything else that comes out, whether it be Atomic Heart, Stalker, any time they need to make, I would rather them come out strong and develop a good game. And this goes for Xbox first party as well. If next year they still need a little bit more time, hey, it is what it is, because once Xbox starts dropping all these games, we're not going to be able to keep up with the cadence that we're going to be getting games, guys. Like once they start dropping them, and these studios start cranking out, we're talking about 30 something odd studios. Like we're not going to be able to keep up with the games that they're going to have dropping. You know what I mean? That's just a fact. Like it's going to be a couple AAA games every quarter, every couple of months,
It's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Timber says that he's sure you got Peppa Pig game of the year.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. Hey, that's 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score right there for me.
Hey, I'm
with
check
my
that.
account.
Hello. I'm signing up for it too.
Oh God.
Peppa Pig game of the year.
Shout out to Jez Gordon, man. I didn't realize they were dropping that My Little Pony Series X update, man. I'm gonna have to jump on that too. Like I'm gonna have to get my Little Pony in before the end of September.
Yeah. I did that. I did what you call a game. What was it? Xbox International with Rand, and he was talking about playing those types of games, My Little Pony and Barbie games and stuff like that to get a score up. I'm like, well, if he did it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in it.
Hannah Montana and all them quick little 1,000 and 1,000 gamer scores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't be afraid, y'all. Hey, it's a game.
Me too. Yeah, I'll do the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Yeah.
But you know what though? I will say this about that, the game delay and everything. Atomic Heart, I remember the first time I saw it, I didn't care for it. I was like, it looks all right. It was really just a trailer though. So I was like, it doesn't really do anything, but it's not like I'm gonna forget it. Even if a game doesn't catch me, I still keep it logged in the memory and we'll see what happens. Later on, man, that game looks so freaking phenomenal now. It's ridiculous. It reminds me of BioShock and what's the other game I was thinking? And Fallout. It reminds me of those two games rolled up together. But when it got delayed, I heard it from one of Umbra's biggest the guys, one of the biggest guys he follows on Twitter. And that was Wobzilla. And so he was saying, he mentioned it in his face.
I was wondering why you didn't say the person's name, and then you dropped that. I'm like, nah. You ain't right for that.
But yeah, he mentioned it in his face, and he was all happy about it. And I was like, dude, like, come on, man, calm down. Like, it's not even like it's a first party game, and it's a dig on the console. But he, of course, left out that they signed a deal immediately to get Gungrave added to Game Pass, which looks freaking hot. I'm not gonna say phenomenal, but it looks like it's a bunch of fun. It looks like Devil May Cry meets Devil May Cry. I mean, what else?
Mr.
Yeah.
Bushido had me watch the
The trailer
trailer
for it.
right before the show, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can definitely get down with this.
I
This
can get
is
jiggy with this.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's definitely my type of game, man. That action, Devil May Cry, like
Yeah.
you know that
bullets,
that
beauty,
style of
badass.
game. Yeah,
Bullets,
all
beauty,
that.
badass."
Yeah.
Yes, that was it. That was a lot. What do you call it again?
Tagline.
What's someone
Slogan.
call they used for it? Yeah, it looks really good though. It looks like a fun game. It looks like something that I think everybody would be pretty interested in. And the trailer is actually fun because the first thing me and Bob saw in the trailer, the first thing caught my attention, the same thing caught his attention. And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but when dude comes out of his little vehicle or whatever in the very beginning, you're like, wow, you had to do dude like that? That's kind of messed up.
I like it too because it seems like it'll be one of those games that's hit or miss. But since it's going straight to Game Pass, we don't have anything to lose.
Yeah,
Nope.
zero.
That's what I think. I think a lot of
Nothing
people
at
would
all.
like ignore that part. Like Game Pass is good not just because of so many experiences and games it can open you up to, but the fact that you get to try out all these games, and if they're terrible, you didn't lose out on anything except maybe
Right.
a little time.
Save
You know
me
what I mean?
time. Yep.
That's it. So yeah,
Peter says in the chat, makes me want to play Dead Island again. This
yeah.
it does
Well,
have
we got part
auto.
2 coming.
It does have auto HDR and FPS boost on the definitive editions
Yeah,
of the first
and
one.
and we
For
got
what
Lenny
game?
Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz Part 2 with
Yeah,
Dead
for that one.
Rising 2 coming out.
Yeah,
next year.
yeah. Lenny Kravitz Island.
Yeah, right. Are you gonna go my way?
It's funny because I didn't think much of that game either because I wasn't a big fan of the first one. And when I saw this one, when I saw gameplay, not just the trailer, but gameplay, I was like, man, it looks really good and actually looks a little bit better mechanically. So I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, see, I wanted to get some gameplay today of actually being in the city because not many people made it past the beach and the resort. But after you get past the beach and resort, yeah, there's a big sprawling city that you have to go through. And yeah,
I'll get out.
it's
I don't remember.
definitely shows you the roots of Dying Light and where Techland went with this.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, by the way, next year is going to be really crazy. Like Grayson,
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to play all these games next year. He's right. I mean,
I don't
I
know.
think in February and I think March alone, I think it's going to be like crazy. Somebody made a tweet actually earlier that like listed them, and I was like, wow, that is a lot. Like it's crazy and like big time games too at that we're supposed to
gonna
get in
have
like
to-
the
Yeah,
first quarter.
2020,
different game every
2023. Yeah, 2023 is about to be crazy, bro. Like
Mhm.
that's why I say like we're not gonna have the time to play all these games, man. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can cap all we want to, but like I know I'm not gonna have enough time
I
to play all
know.
these games.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? Like
Sure.
you know,
And just to list them, Power Man, you got Atomic Heart now, Wolong Final Dynasty, you have Stalker 2, you have Warhammer, Forza,
Dead Space 2.
Starfield,
Dead
right, Dead Space, the remake or remaster, whatever you
Starfield.
want to call it, remake, Starfield, Redfall, Last Case of Benedict Fox, Minecraft Legends, Lies of P. I mean, that's all
crazy.
Xbox.
Dead
that's all
Island
Game
2
Pass
on
right there.
February 3rd.
Yep, and
And there's more games
all
we're
those
leaving
are
out,
Game
too.
Pass outside.
Shout out to
Dead Island.
Thember. He put me on this game. Have you guys heard about Where the Winds Meet? Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
From a Chinese developer.
That
Bro, I watched the
game
trailer of
looked
that.
hot.
Yo, Thember, bro, that game looks crazy good. And it showed
It does.
gameplay in the midst of the CGI. Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, this is every
Shout out to Black
developer
Star
can take a
Me.
shot.
Thank you for the support.
Yeah, man, shout out, appreciate you. But yeah, every studio should do that with a mixture of CGI and actual gameplay. I love it. That's huge.
I thought it looked really dope. I am a little worried though. I think I remember commented on it on a podcast where I talked about how it looks cool action wise, but I just wonder how it plays when you're actually in control of it. You know, because it seems like it'll be one of those games that looks really aesthetically like cool, but like might not be controlled the best. But we'll see.
You know what game looks like that too is Descendants. Like the trailer is freaking hot, but you tell me you're playing at that pace and at that angle. But if the game is anything like the trailer, I'm in. Oh no! Listen, you got a good trailer. I'm in. You know,
Yeah.
I understand what a
That-
trailer
That's
is and
the
everything.
that's the looter shooter Descendants, right? Is
Yeah,
that
I
the
think
that's
so.
they're saying that's akin to Destiny and Warframe, right? Like that's
Yeah,
as
more
far
like
as like
Outriders. It
more
seems
like
right.
Yeah,
Outriders,
that's what I
yeah.
was getting ready
Yeah.
to say. Yeah, it fits
Yeah.
more in that range than that. Yeah, but the
Mhm.
Yeah.
angle they use in the trailer is really cinematic because of the angle you're watching
Yeah.
and the pace is
Yeah.
is amazing. But I don't think that's how the game is going to play because I just was thinking aesthetically how a person would play it and how a person would be able to deal with being able to see their enemies. Who's laughing?
Damn it, Peter.
Jimochi Orion.
Don't you right?
Hey, Disney Plus Day.
Oh,
Shout
that's
out Jim
messed
Ryan.
up.
No,
Shout
I'm
out
a
Jim
real
Ryan
boy.
hitting Disney Plus day one.
I'm a
I'm a
real
real
boy.
boy.
Oh, you need to get out here,
Oh man, that's
Umbra.
messed
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I do have to
What?
get going. If we can maybe cover one more topic, I could probably talk really quick and get out of here. But
Yeah, our last
What's it?
topic. So apparently EA has handed over Battlefield development to Ridgeline Games.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. I'm really shocked. I mean, EA did such a great job with it. I can't believe they've turned it over to Ridgeline. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
I had so many high hopes for that game too. It's
Yeah,
just
I
so
was really
disappointing.
hyped on 2042, man. I was really excited because Battlefield 4 is still my favorite.
Still my favorite is Bad Company.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I played a lot more Battlefield 4 than I did any other Battlefield, man. And when I saw 2042 and I saw the initial trailer, I was like, ooh, this looks good. You know what I mean? This actually might pull me off of my typical shooters or what have you. And man, I was so disappointed whenever I downloaded that trial and played that game. You know what I mean? But I will give it credit. Okay, so I re-downloaded it the other day, and it appears to be running a lot better than it has in a while.
Okay.
Based off of what I played,
I heard a lot of people say that.
Based off what I played initially and what I played like maybe a week ago, I downloaded it. Now I'm still not at the point where I'm gonna pay like full price for this game.
Yeah,
but if I caught it on a sale, I was actually thinking about it. You know what I'm
On
saying? I was like,
PlayStation
okay.
for Game Pass, not Game Pass, excuse me, GameFly, because I still get advertisements for them. It's on sale for $5.
Damn,
No, the
what?
GameFly had it on sale for $5.
So to
The
give you
game?
some facts on them,
Yeah.
so Electronic
I'm about-
Arts,
I'm
of
about to Google
course,
this shit.
revealed the newest addition to its family of over 20 development teams. Seattle-based Ridgeline Games, led by Halo co-creator Marcus Leto, and composed of industry veterans from around the world, Ridgeline Games will be focused on developing a narrative campaign set in the Battlefield universe. So it's looking to me like this is going to be DLC. Yeah. So it's not actually going to. It's still going to be in Dice's hands, but this is going to be a collaboration between Ridgeline and Dice.
Wait a second,
Yep.
they're going to be in Dice's can. Oh fuck, this is not gonna work out.
Eh.
Dice doesn't know
Well,
how
you know
to
what? I
make.
don't think it's Dice's fault. I think that them forcing that engine on Dice
Yeah,
was
they need
more
to
the
drop.
issue.
They need to drop that
No.
engine, man. It's
Yeah.
time. It's been
Here's the-
time.
They've been using Frostbite for everything for some
Yeah.
battle. Like
Remember, they forced it on BioWare, and it didn't fit
Even-
at all.
even fucking Madden uses the Bifrost engine for some reason.
They're like, look, man, we spent money on this engine. We're going to use it. Listen, man, it only works for one thing, so just leave it on that.
Yeah. I guess they said they're getting all their money's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so on GameFly with Battlefield 2042, if you rent it and choose to keep it, it's $5.99.
Oh, see, wait. It says you have to rent it and then keep it? It
So
doesn't.
yeah,
Okay.
it says you rent it and it has a keep price. So if you rent it right now off of
Okay.
GameFly and you opt in to keep it, then I guess it's $6 or whatever.
So then if you don't have GameFly already, then you're basically paying $15 for it then.
Right, but then of course you can do a free trial, you know.
Oh, yeah,
And
true,
then-
too. Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
See, the thing for me is games like that, I just couldn't do it. Like, it has to have a single player component. I can't just do multiplayer only games. and pay full price for it too.
Can if it's good,
What the
but it
hell is
ain't
Risk
good.
It talking about?
Didn't that studio say that they were developing Battlefield campaigns? Right? Isn't that what they were
Originally, yeah.
Originally, were specified to do that. Is that
Mhm.
are they not doing that anymore?
I don't know. I think that now if they brought Vince Pella on, we'll see what they do. That was the smartest move that EA made right
if
there.
anybody could put a game out, it's gonna be Vince.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That man don't play around.
No
That
question.
man puts
That was
games
the smartest thing they could have done. Hell, I was thinking when I thought about that, I was wishing like, man, I wish Microsoft could have got him and brought him over to Halo.
Any of that. Yeah, they put
Hell
Vince,
yeah.
anything Vince touches is usually
It's gold.
successful, man.
No
you know
question.
What I mean? So
he knows what he's doing for sure. 100% agree.
yeah, I would love having a mind like him. I mean, dude, look at Titanfall was one of my favorite games of the last generation. Titanfall 2 had the best campaign, one of the best first-person shooter campaigns I've ever played. You know what I mean? And that dude is just a beast. And like you said, everything, Jedi Fallen Order, Titanfall 1 and 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Like the original Medal of Honor back when it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And that's just 2002, bro. You know what I mean? Been in the game. He made the original NBA Jam. What? See what I'm saying? No wonder.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this dude makes games. Yeah, that's crazy.
He's on fire.
Connection issues this evening, sir.
I love NBA Jam. That's my favorite basketball game of all time.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
NBA on NBC. Y'all ever play that in the arcade? Y'all remember that? 3 on 3?
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that one too, man. NBA Jam and I always love those kind of games. I wasn't big on the simulators, but I love the arcade
types.
Yeah.
I like that with racers. I only like arcade racers.
Same.
I don't like Sims. Yeah.
I was more of the Midnight Club, Underground 2. You know what I mean? Like I love those types of games.
Yeah, that's why I love Horizon so much. Yeah.
Burnout was
Horizon. Yep.
Yeah. Like Forza Horizon, like the Forza Motorsport as a whole is great, and it's always a good graphical showpiece. But if you ask me, I'd take 5 or 6 Forza Horizons before I got, you know what I'm saying? Like I would take another, like even with Forza Horizon just came out, I would take a Forza Horizon 6 right now, and I would be happy. You know what I mean? Like I still play it just as hard as I did Forza Horizon 4 and 5.
Right.
I think Risk It is happy that you don't have Jedi on here for some reason. He keeps trying to make sure we see that.
Oh, I like PETA.
Yeah.
I like PETA.
PETA.
He's a good fella.
All right. PETA.
Good fellow when he's not milking his wallabies.
his drop bears.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous. I would love to live in Australia. I think that'd be cool.
Man.
No, not with all them drop bears running around, man.
With them drop bears and gigantic animals and bugs.
Yeah.
You walk outside and get killed by something, but it'd be pretty.
Get carried away by a spider like off Lord of the Rings or something.
Yo, I seen a video. You seen that video on Twitter of those kids that were like with those big huntsman spiders?
I saw that.
Bro,
that was
I would have fell out and fainted right in there, bro. I would have.
Was they playing with them?
They were crawling on them, dog.
Yeah,
they were crawling on them.
Disgusting.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm talking about spiders as big as a dog, dude.
I'm like, that kid is yours now. Yep.
Somebody, please DM me that one. Even though I don't like spiders, I gotta see this.
Yeah, and the kids were unaffected. They were they're playing around like it's
Power. Put that in the group chat, please.
What?
I couldn't do it, man.
I gotta. I know y'all had to have seen it, man. And it was a couple of kids.
Too much arachnophobia for me.
And they were crawling, and they were crawling on them, and everybody, I'm telling you, the Twitter messages were heat, man. Bro. They were so funny.
I saw that. I was just like, burn the house down and the kids, all of
them. Yeah. And they're like, what happened to your kids? I was like, I'm starting over.
I don't have any kids. The spider kids.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah, those are
the kids belong to the spiders now.
They're hatchlings. Yeah, they gone now.
Well, guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours now. I think we're going to call it a wrap. We're going to do some outros here and let everybody know where they can find us in our normal gaming lives and fighting the battlegrounds on Twitter and whatnot. But Power Man 4K, you first, brother. Where can people find you, man?
Oh man, this was a great episode, man. Shout out to Umbra. It was a blast having you on the show. Hopefully we can work. Hopefully we can work again very soon.
Thank you, brother.
You can catch me on Twitter. I will probably be in the Hornet's Nest doing what I do typically. I'm at Powerman 4K, and I'll be here every Thursday at 9 p.m. chopping it up with you guys, man. Great show.
You notice how you almost said Power Man 4K. 4K. But then he corrected himself.
Yeah,
That's how they say it here in Chicago.
I keep
Yeah.
that. I keep that
Bold.
heat. I keep that heat for Twitter, bro. That's all.
Gotcha.
I keep that heat for Twitter. You know?
There you go. There you
That's,
go.
that's that
Sister.
Chicago style, the way you said it. Phone them.
God.
Phone them.
That's the Charlotte in me. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
that
see.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Fabio, where can people find you, brother?
Well, you can find me on Twitter as FBO Amorim97, on Xbox as Buffon Lizard 8, as well as you can find me here and on the XBL Party podcast, my podcast where we do have a lot of content with reviews, podcast episodes, tabletop RPG sections. In fact, I am going to be releasing this week still the edited version of the first session that we made. And yeah, do make sure to check it
Yeah.
out. Thank you
I
so
was
much for
just speaking
going.
with with I'm a Ghostbuster today on Twitter. He may be an upcoming guest on the show.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Always great to see him.
Our guest, Infinite Umbra. Where can people find you when you're not being held down by Mr. Bushido?
Yeah, when I'm standing in him and he's standing in my shadow, you can find me on you can find me on Twitter under Umbra Infinite or Infinite Umbra. You'll find me either way. And of course, you guys can find me tomorrow on the Xbox Infinite podcast named after me. At 8 o'clock Eastern, and the Xbox Factor with Boom and the fellas on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock Eastern. Want to say appreciate you guys for having me through. Bob, Power Man, a pleasure to hearing your takes. Bushido and Fabio, my man. I cannot believe it's not butter model. You know, I want to say, despite the more heated discussion, definitely meant no offense or anything like that,
No,
brother.
not at all. I
Yeah.
didn't understand. No.
Okay.
I hope I didn't make you
No,
feel
not at all.
that I was trying
I
to
thought maybe I was too
be
offensive
angry at
on
you.
how I
No,
presented it.
no, not at all.
Yeah, but pleasure talking with you all, hearing your takes and just joking around and pelling around with it. Now I have to get going to work. So
Yeah, it was awesome having you,
Yeah, man, we
Umbra.
appreciate you taking time out, man.
thanks.
Can't
yeah,
wait to
yeah.
have you on again someday.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Be safe out there, brother.
No
Be
doubt.
safe,
I'll talk with you guys.
All right, bro.
All right, brother. And
It,
Mr.
it was all
Bushido,
it was all great
when
during
you're
the
not standing in the shadow of Umbra, where can people find you?
like it was all during the discussion with Umbra, but never do that again.
No, whatever.
You can find me on the Twitters at Game Genie Prime. The other name too, it makes it easier if you just look up Mr. Bushido and 7. The other one is in the same thing with the Xboxes and the Twitters. I mean the Xbox and the PlayStations. It's the same thing. And all right, let me get this straight. On Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock, you can find me on the Spooky Sprocket Show, which is called the Backyard Bastard, Backlog Bastards. You catch me on Thursday nights here with the boys on the KY Bobby Show, game set live rematch or reset or something like that. And tomorrow night you can catch me on Doom Slayer's Den at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. All these Eastern Standard Times.
You know, when you call me Bobby, think about that little show called Bobby's World, and that made me feel like I'm a little child doing a podcast, and I don't know how I felt about
Yeah, my
that.
wife loves that show too. To
You,
this
that-
day.
you do that pretty well, man. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
he
lie.
did, didn't he?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Should
I
we
got a
call
little
you
Bronx
Bob?
in me
got
too.
a little voice acting.
Should we call
Yeah.
you Bobby then?
Oh God.
Go on, Bobby.
She's like,
Do
you
your
know,
rap.
I'll be out here with my homeboys in the Bronx. We be hanging out in this corner right here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. You be here and you be square. Yeah,
Be here and
yeah.
be square.
I got a few. Oh man, and I'm your host KY Bob. You find me same name, same emblem. YouTube, Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation. Uh, yeah, hit me up. We'll play some games. Have a good weekend. Thanks for
KY
coming
doesn't
out.
stand for Kentucky.
It does stand for Kentucky.
It does not.
Yes, it does. It stands for Kentucky. Killing me.
Nobody's buying that.
Oh, you're killing me.
Shut up, Bobby.
Oh. All right, everybody. Good
All
night.
right, thank
It
you,
was great
everybody.
to be
Thanks
seen.
for
It was
coming
great
through.
to see everybody. Yep.
Bye, guys.